shot. Snow had to see it all the way. Looked it right into his stick.
John Murray was looking for a highlight reel goal. Wagner shuts it down. As we do get a little bit of cloud coverage here, what's been a incredibly sunny day in Fairfield, much needed. Feels like this winter has been 8 months long.
Really only in the past 3 weeks, though. Past 4 weeks. All the snow happened in February.
February's always the worst month. I'm a February birthday, and it's just a miserable time of year, especially in New Hampshire.
Well, it's a different story. You're up north.
That shot goes wide. Wagner scoops it up. Connecticut and New Hampshire, the winters aren't too different. I feel like winter, the air kind of just hurts your face in New Hampshire.
I don't mind the cold. Nice save there by Pazienza. He's getting his work in now.
Absolutely, he'll take it. As we mentioned, he is second in Sacred Heart University history in saves made.
Amoruso coming in. Are we going to see a third? No, guess they don't listen to me the way that you do.
It was a nice stick from Cole Yoshiaka.
He's staying out there, though. Nah, now he's coming off.
You have your fun when you can, till you get called back. James Moran off the dodge, frees up the right. But he's a left-handed shot. This is a new one. Let me check my notes here to get this number. Joel Palaz from Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Nice shot there. Tim Kiley just coming across, hands-free, top corner, just rolls it off the post. Sacred Heart getting offense from everywhere right now. You can see him here. He comes in on the ISO, gets his hands free. That's a far shot. You can see Snow's expecting it to be low, and it was not. Surprised him.
How about that screen from Tucker Spencer, who went matrix mode, dodging that one in front of the goalie. And Tim Kiley, speaking of New Hampshire, the sophomore from Bedford, he went to Bishop Girton Academy.
You talk about making adjustments. You saw when Sacred Heart has been shooting the ball from out far, they've been bouncing it in low. Snow went low, anticipating it, and it went right over his shoulder.
Wonder if they're going to give Joel Pallas, the sophomore from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, the assist there. Would be his first point of the season and presumably his career.
Oh, what a great pass that was by Snow.
Pazienza was out of his crease.
It's bad to worse there by Wagner. That was an unbelievable pass by Snow all the way across the field. Sanchez has it. He picked it up. Pazienza tried to jump the cut at a wide open net and missed. And then Pazienza, making up for the I guess, chaos that he caused, dives out of the crease. Saves possession. Back over to Sacred Heart.
Pallas not awarded the assist, still in search of his first point, but he's still in the offensive zone, working on the left wing over there. This is Pallas. Pioneers recruiting seems to have a stranglehold on Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Oh, that I thought he snuck that in, but Wilkie put it right off the outside of the net. They reset the shot clock. Maybe the official thought it nicked the post, but either way.
Regardless, this is Jake Ward working in the final minutes of this third quarter. That shot goes wide as well. Wagner, no doubt, with the backup.
Yeah, not a big deal there, but Murray's got to be a little bit smarter. He knows he has no one in that far corner, so if you're going to shoot that way, hit the net. Either way, you're up by 11. No harm, no foul.
Wagner now looking to get some momentum going into their Northeastern Conference schedule. This will be the last out-of-conference game for the Pioneers. We'll finish it up with 8 conference games in a row. Next week, they're going to take a trip to Buffalo. Might have to leave Fairfield on Wednesday to get to Buffalo for Saturday. It's going to be a tough drive. Good defense from
Yeah, I was going to say, I was surprised that no flag was thrown there. Amoruso, I believe it was him, got a little aggressive with the check, hit the helmet. It's going to be a call every time. Great save there.
That was a really nice save by Pazienza.
He saw that at the very last second and just flipped his stick and was able to knock it down. Sacred Heart will...
See if this might be Tyler Bosty getting the penalty. I think it is.
Yeah, here's Sanchez missing the net. I mean, wide open. He misses it, and Pazienza trips over the net in his angst to get back there to provide backup. Luckily, there's no one within a country mile. Either way, minute penalty here for a hit to the head, and Wagner will look to...
It is going to be the senior Tyler Bosty with the penalty.
Oh, it was Tyler Bosty.
Yep, it's going to be 60 seconds for TB, as they call him.
Shot clock and game clock exactly synced together. So, or excuse me, the penalty and the game clock. So
shot clock as well. Look at that, Joe.
Wow, all three.
We got triple 35s here at Sacred Heart.
What are the odds of that happening? Actually, that's pretty crazy.
It's got to be. I'm no mathematician, but you got to think it's 1 in 60, 1 in 60, 1 in 60.
If we can get a statistician to come in and. But it's even more than that. But yeah, I guess you're right. We'll do the math after this, and we'll tell you.
Right now. Pazienza has not learned his lesson as he finds himself at midfield trying to pick up the assist. Goal scored. It's Palace, the first of his career.
Yeah, he won't pick up the assist, but if it was a hockey assist, he would get it. Passes the ball to Brown. Brown takes a step and pulls the defender. Another one of those broken plays on the fast break there. So that is a 1 in 216,000 chance to have all three match. Hope you guys enjoyed it because it's ruined now with the goal.
That is Palace picking up. We're not going out. And we're back at midfield. Palace with the first of his career. And the Pioneers sporting a 12-goal lead heading into this fourth quarter.
You were asking for one of those quintessential offensive performances, Evan. I think you got it. Ooh, that was a hit to the head. That's got to be a flag. It is not. A little surprised on that one, but...
Yeah, no flag assessed, and the Pioneers taking a big lead into the fourth quarter here at Campus Field on Senior Day. It is the Sacred Heart Pioneers 16, the Wagner College Seahawks 4. Stay with us on ESPN+. Welcome back to Campus Field on the campus of Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, where it is the Pioneers leading big going into this fourth quarter. 16 goals for these Pioneers, eclipsing their season total, or season high rather, of 12. Pioneers have bursted out, but one thing we wanted to bring up, they were empty-handed on 3.5 minutes of penalty time. That was now their second shorthanded goal of the year, or of the game, rather.
Of the game and the year. So Sacred Heart, 1 man-up goal in 11 tries on the year, and they have 2 shorthanded goals, both of them today. Should start seeing some unfamiliar numbers, you would think, if you're Sacred Heart, although there's Amoruso just snagging that one.
Yeah, it was a win in the faceoff dot by Jack O'Neill The sophomore doing some good work, but then he turns it over in the offensive zone. So now it is the Pioneers on the attack once again. Broadnax giving way to Pallas. Pallas just got his first career goal, the sophomore. And J.J. Fox is going to handle it from the X. A couple new faces for the Pioneers getting some well-deserved playing time. I mentioned at the top of the show, there's only so much glory to go around. All 70 people on roster do all this hard work all week, and they don't necessarily get rewarded on Saturdays. So you take any chance you can to empty your bench, for better or for worse. So the Pioneers with a couple of fresh legs on.
Fresh legs to feed the wolves, boys.
This is Hunter Sansetta handling on his senior day. He is one of the 15 seniors we are celebrating here on Campus Field. That time Broadnax was trying to get it in tight to Pallas.
That ball actually may have been checked out of his stick into the crease. But either way,
Wagner on the attack, 60 seconds to shoot. This long pass connects. Ethan Sieb, he's got 6 goals on the year. He's empty-handed today.
yeah, leading goal scorer for the Seahawks just has been shut down by Sacred Heart. I think 1 shot attempt on the day.
Jake Mitchell has been unable to get anything going either. He's been the facilitator. He's started many of the breaks, started many of the offensive sets, but he doesn't have a point yet.
I believe Amoruso and Jack Ramsey are the two familiar faces here on defense.
Oh,
nice shot.
That's Max Frisora working around the defense and taking that shot from about 20 yards out. And I'm sure, I was going to say Pazienza wants it back, but I believe there's a new keeper in net. That might have been the first shot he's seen all day, as that came through traffic from 20 yards out.
Yeah, it's a tough shot. There's a bunch of bodies in front of you. He's rolling around the dodge and just flips it in, puts it into the top corner. Hard for that to be the first shot you face in the game as well.
Absolutely. It's the senior Matt Gruters, another one of the seniors we are celebrating here. And Nicky wins that one. Clean, but the pass was errant.
Yeah, a little low. Ball goes back the other way.
Nicky Casano, another senior. I was waiting for him to take that shot. Yeah, no better day to do it.
We've seen a lot of weird goals today. 2 long pole goals, one of which was assisted by another long pole.
Speaking of long poles, this is Drew Pemrick, who clears it for Wagner. He'll scamper back over midfield. Seahawks taking their time, just trying to make it back to Staten Island healthy.
Yeah, and Sacred Heart's got to be thinking the same thing here. Really good turnover there. Luke Hedelinko playing a lot of defense today. Nice play there. Oh, Cam Brown got his butt of his stick popped. Ball comes out. Turnover goes the other way.
Cam Brown, another one of those seniors from Highland Ranch, Colorado. I feel like I'm in some sort of like Matrix. How do they have so many players from Highland Ranch, Colorado? Have you ever heard of Highland Ranch?
I think John Basti got one of them to come over, and they were like, hey, the school's great. And they grabbed every lacrosse player over there.
Oh, a nice save. Gruters with a big save, making up for that one he let go. That was a much more dangerous angle.
Ball's going to go back to Wagner. I think it was a push on the far side. Reset the shot clock. Take a look at this save. That's a great save. Really good shot. He kicks his leg out, gets the stick to follow.
That was a big overhand left. That was exactly the shot that he wanted for Danny McMahon, right where he wanted it too. And that jump shot, I believe it bounced a little too early, went over the cage.
I mean, Wagner's kind of throwing everything in the kitchen sink here at Gruters, so it's the right move for them.
Shot clock stays at 44.
Remember, a shot has to hit the net, either the post or the goalie, to reset the shot clock. I'm surprised Sieb didn't want that shot.
That was another great defensive effort, stepping in front of McMahon.
Yeah, Jack
and
Ramsey.
limping it off is Jack Ramsey.
Got a feeling that's going to be the end of his night, I would think. Busty's going to want to get his boys out of there.
I mean, did you see the way that thing bounced? That wasn't a thigh or a chest. That had to be a knee.
Yeah, and he took it. Yeah, I mean, it just shows you the level of effort and care that these guys have. They're up 11, and Ramsey's putting his body on the line to make sure the ball doesn't go in the back of the net.
That was a nice shot going to his right.
Yeah, it's Siebes first. We were talking about him. A little bit of a broken play there by Sacred Heart. Gets his hands free, takes that near alley, and just rifles one off in the top corner. Goes short side. I'm not sure Gruder's expected him to go there. I think he thought he was going to go far, but take a look here at the replay. Just comes across and snaps it home.
From what I've seen so far in my kind of young lacrosse watching career, it seems like those shots where you're attacking the net, going to your strong side and picking the short corner might be the easiest to place for a high-quality scorer like Ethan Sieb.
Yeah, and it depends, too. If you're shooting to the goalie's stick side, which he was, a lot of goalies will actually cheat to the far side because they're expecting it to go there because that's not where the stick is. Sometimes you can catch a goalie by surprise, which is exactly what happened there.
And this is Casano who's going to battle again, directing traffic.
Casano's had a couple of these.
I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
That's exactly, he got the spin on the ball and just flipped his stick and was able to free it. Really good work. He's had a couple of those longer marathon face-off wins.
Well, they brought in Luke Romanek because they wanted to get a little bit more productivity at the face-off dot. But something you can't take away is that experience. Nicky Casano was the starting Fogo guy before that, so anytime you do turn to Casano, it's not like you're getting your backup in the game. It's like you have another great option in the face-off dot to change up the pace a little bit, change up the way they see it.
Yeah, and give John Bosty credit. This is the first game all year, believe it or not, with the score, that Sacred Heart has not been relatively dominant at the face-off dot. So made a quick change, went from Luke Romanek over to Casano and MP Thomas, and we've seen some pretty good success there for the Pioneers.
As that shot goes wide, and speaking of the first game, this is the first game for the Pioneers that they haven't had to rip and claw their way through it. They won their first game by just a single goal. Holy Cross, they did end up winning by 4, but that was thanks to a great fourth quarter effort. Then they lost in double overtime against Fairfield by just 1. And then the very next game against Stony Brook, they took that to overtime, scoring their 7th. Will Moulton was actually his first career game winner against Stony Brook. So every game so far this season has been an absolute battle, tooth and nail.
That's what you would expect from this team. These are good teams that Sacred Heart is playing. This is really the first mismatch we've had so far this year, and Sacred Heart's doing exactly what a good team does against a team that's not really up to their skill level, and they're winning pretty handily. So as you come into the MAC conference schedule, remember, we talked about this last year and at the beginning of this year. Last year was really the first time that Sacred Heart came into the MAC conference play with some momentum. They're doing it again here today, and this year, it's really good to see.
The Metro Atlantic has been put on notice. The Pioneers are going to finish their out-of-conference schedule with a record of 4 wins, 1 loss, the sole loss coming in double overtime to a great Fairfield Stags team with a rich lacrosse history.
Should see just a throwaway here with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and we do.
So with a little over 8 minutes to play, it is the Pioneers leading by double digits still here on Campus Field. The crowd as lively as ever.
It's lacrosse weather, man.
First nice day of the year, really, in Connecticut. You know, the week was nice, but a nice Wednesday doesn't quite feel the same as a nice Saturday does.
Correct, especially when you're playing lacrosse.
Now it is the Pioneers forcing a middle-of-the-field turnover.
Yeah, and Sacred Heart really milking these offensive possessions. That's fine. You're putting the landing gear down on this game. 7 minutes and 35 seconds left, up by 10.
This is J.J. Fox with a dangerous-looking opportunity.
Cam Brown went behind his back. I think it was offside by Wagner, I want to say, was the call.
That flag is way over on the far side of the field.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what he called. I'm almost positive I saw it. But Brown going behind the back just missed the net.
Again, this is kind of exactly what you want if you're the Pioneers. There's nothing like a game rep. You can't replicate that during the week. So
No.
Another chance to try out your special teams unit that is yet to be a factor in your season. By the time conference play rolls around, you don't really want to be tinkering with things. You want to kind of have an identity.
No, this is an area where they're going to have to start tinkering. Don Basti up at the shooting hole here.
I like that play from Bossy.
That was a great shot.
That was the first time we've kind of seen this man-up unit have a plan.
Yeah, forced. I think they're going to make sure he's okay because that hit him in the head.
He forced the Wagner defender, Tristan McMahon. I can only assume it's a pair of McMahon brothers, Tristan and Danny, a junior and a sophomore. Regardless, forced him to make a decision. Oh, what a shot. And that is way too much room for Cam Brown, the senior from Highlands Ranch.
Yeah, and I think it fooled Wagner because the pass could have been for Basti or for Brown. Wagner collapsed on Basti, and then Brown, just with an open look, just pumps it past Snow.
And this is not your typical man-up team that the Pioneers have put on the field, but this has been easily the best man-up look we've seen all season from Sacred Heart.
I don't know if that was a man-up goal.
It was Cam Brown
Close enough.
who went cross-body with a beautiful goal on Senior Day, and the Pioneers are enjoying it. An 11-goal lead as we end this thing here from the campus field. Stay with us. Are we going to come out to the fan shot? I could see the cameraman pumping them up. Doing it a little bit early. They're going to run out of gas. Welcome back to Campus Field, and as we mentioned, the stands are packed and everybody is enjoying themselves with the first sunshiny weekend in Fairfield, Connecticut, and it is the Pioneers giving them something to cheer about as they net another one. And everybody's having fun. Jack Ballsy, the freshman from New Milford, Connecticut, gets the first goal of his career.
It's a game of firsts here for Sacred Heart.
You reward them when you can. Jack Ballsy getting in the game, the short stick defensive midfielder. Freshman scores and the crowd loves it. The sideline loves it. Pioneers get their 18th goal of the game.
This is the most goals Wagner's given up in a contest so far this year. They give up 17 to Hofstra.
I think this might be the most goals ever scored in the history of this matchup. Check that, the first ever meeting between these two teams on March 3rd of 2007. The Pioneers came away with a 22-5 victory. So they are quite short of that mark, with about 6.5 minutes to play. The Pioneers having fun in the offensive end. They'll do everything in their power to meet it if they could.
2007, my brother-in-law was on Sacred Heart back then. Getting old.
Was the Pioneer lacrosse program a Division I program at that time?
Yeah. That was back when there were crazy conferences, like the conference games for Sacred Heart, where I think Air Force and Denver.
Maybe that's how we got our Colorado on.
Some fun stuff. It was a while ago.
So were they flying out to all these games?
I could have been sitting here actually for that game. It's interesting.
Were they flying out to all these away games?
Yes, they had to, right?
Oh, man.
I'll ask them later. I'll report back next time we're on the air.
That's going to be St. Patrick's Day. March 15th, we're going to be on air for the first home conference game for the Pioneers.
And if you're listening, text me if you flew or drove to those games.
Yeah, we might get the news on the spot, not have to wait 2 weeks. As we mentioned, the Pioneers are going to be going to Canisius all the way to Buffalo. Nice save by Gruters. And he gets his own rebound. The Pioneers stand tall in the defensive end. So they'll be at Canisius at 11 a.m. in Buffalo on ESPN+. And then they're going to be taking on Siena at home on St. Patrick's Day, March 15th. I'm sure St. Patrick's Day is probably a Sunday. It's a weekend for me, on St. Patrick's weekend. And what a shot! Scores by Colby Helfrich. The junior from Marshfield, Massachusetts, gets his first goal of the season.
Yeah, Loda high right there on that far side. Just puts it into the top corner. I believe Wagner made a goaltending change. I don't know if it happened there, but that's Nate Yee who's in the game.
So with 5 minutes to play, the Pioneers, with their biggest lead of the game, they're up 13. Home games are few and far between for the Pioneers as far as the conference schedule goes. They'll play Siena on March 15th, and then they'll be on the road against Merrimack and Iona, both in the same week. And then 2 weeks later, they'll play Marist at home. So they're averaging a home game every 20 days. It's kind of the way that this schedule works out. But they will end it with back-to-back home games against Mount St. Mary's, and then finally a Metro Atlantic Conference Championship game rematch against Manhattan University to end the season. Pioneers are going to be looking to be in the exact same place they were last year with an undefeated conference schedule. So that shot went off either the post or Yee's.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten it when it went low and popped up. It went behind him. And then everybody was confused as to where the ball was, but Sacred Heart came away with it.
Pioneers are afforded the luxury of hosting the MAC Conference Tournament should they finish with a similar year to last year. Last year they were just part-time members, so although they were undefeated in conference play, they actually had to go on the road to win the championship. Me and Joe were unable to call it, which is kind of unfortunate.
Would have been fun. But they won.
They won, and then they took a trip to the NCAA tournament where they lost to UAlbany. Albany actually made a pretty good run. They ended up losing that one in a close game. And flags fly as the Pioneers had 3 white jerseys around the Wagner Seahawk. So it looks like the Seahawks are going to get to work that man-up unit. Out trots Tyler Bosty. Is he going to take the face-off for the Pioneers?
My brother-in-law has responded.
Wow.
Denver was the only game they flew.
Denver.
Everything else was bus.
How's Denver at lacrosse? I feel like Colorado's a great lacrosse.
Denver is very, very good.
Yeah, I figured. They're putting together a basketball program over there in Denver as well. Denver College on the come-up. This is Wagner working the man up. 5-on-6 for just 10 more seconds as that shot goes wide. Let's take a look at Pazienza's ending stats, as it's been all Gruters here in this fourth quarter. Not before Wagner tries to finish off. Gruters goes low, makes the save. It squeaks through, but he fortunately dives back on it. So a nice save by Gruters. Pazienza ended with, well, the stats online are still giving Gruters saves to Pazienza. So I'm going to go with Pazienza had about 7 or 8 saves with 4 goals allowed. So we got the job done in that. He's going to pick up another win. Seems like since he took over that starting role, all these Pioneers have done is come away with wins. This is a program that has really got ahead of steam over the last 2.5 years since making that move to the MAC.
Yeah, give John Bosty a lot of credit for that. Really good job recruiting, really good job going into the transfer portal. Just fantastic work all around, and they've really started developing a culture that I think you can kind of seep into this team and see it.
As there is James Moran. Again, as this season starts to kind of reach its peak, I expect to see a lot more of James Moran, the sophomore from Nanuet, who had a great freshman campaign. That's going to be his first goal of this season.
Again, it's been the game of firsts, but I guess if you score 20 goals, you're going to have a few of those in there.
It was not a game of firsts for Tucker Spencer, who netted 5 today. His 18th goal of the year was the last one, and he also got his second assist. So he's going to end this game with 19 points on the year, second only to Jake Ward, who, check this out, had a hat trick and 4 assists. So 7 points on the day from Jake Ward, who's going to finish with 7 goals and 14 assists through 4 games, or 5 games rather. He's got 21 points on the year. So the Pioneers, they know they're heavy hitters going into conference play. They know where they need to get contributions from. Right now they're showing that their supporting squad is not too bad either. So they sport a 14-goal lead going to his left. Yes. Nice shot from Sam Blake.
Said it at the jump. If you're a good team, you're expected to beat not good teams, and that is what Sacred Heart's doing here. They've done a really good job getting their shots, picking their opportunities. When the starters are in the game, you saw all the things that have made Sacred Heart very successful this year. And I think seeing this second man up, opportunity here for these guys dominate the way that they have is again telling of the culture that they've built and the team that John Bosty has behind him.
Handful of nice saves for Yee.
Yeah, then a handful of flags on the field. Sacred Heart will go down a man.
I think they're going to get Cam Brown. Or maybe a pair of slashes as he finishes off his defensive effort at midfield. Wagner with just 48 to play. Let's see if we can't get to the end of this without the penalty being assessed.
Nope.
Nice save made by Gruters, and here will come the penalty. It is going to be Cam Brown. So Wagner with a chance to work their man-up unit one more time. They're empty-handed. This is going to be the 5th penalty on the Pioneers. Wagner's empty-handed on the man up, but they have given up 2 short-handed goals.
Yeah, they're in the negative on that one,
which is not great. Wagner 0-6 on the season now. Let's take a look at their schedule as they get into some NEC play. They're going to take on NJIT down in Newark next week, and then they're going to go to Cleveland State, which, believe it or not, actually they're going to host Cleveland State in Staten Island. Then they'll take on Robert Morris, LIU, Lemoyne, Detroit Mercy, VMI, and they're going to finish at Mercyhurst in Erie, Pennsylvania. So that's another drive. As that shot goes over the cage. NJIT is going to be out of conference once again, so their conference schedule doesn't start until March 15th. Again, St. Patrick's Day weekend. They're going to look very festive, but they're wearing the greens here on the road.
Got a Christmas game going on here.
Yeah, it makes me think that they're going to pass up a golden opportunity to wear the greens on St. Patrick's Day, which would really be a sin. Pioneers are going to take this one as the final horn sounds. Gruters get some love in net. Some well-deserved love, and the Pioneers celebrate their 15 seniors in perfect fashion, winning huge at home. Your final score, Pioneers 20, Wagner Seahawks 6. Pioneers getting scoring from a slew of different players. I was going to count them for you, but I think there was more than 10 players scoring for the Pioneers. Let's take a look. Tucker Spencer had 5. Jake Ward with a hat trick. Ryan Rooney had a pair. And then it was Helfrich, Brown, Hoey, Ballsy, Ramsey, Bosty, Broadnax, Moran, Palace, and Tim Kiley all getting a point each. That started to sound like a Dr. Seuss book there. And the Pioneers with a big win at home in front of a great crowd.
Yeah, always fun to put your stamp on senior day, which is exactly what the Pioneers did today. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. These are games you expect a really good team to win. Sacred Heart did exactly what they were supposed to do. Really one 3-minute period in this game, I would say, where things were a little messy, if you will, for Sacred Heart. But this game was in hand from the opening face-off, and just really, really, really good work by the Pioneers to enter their MAC schedule with a little bit of momentum.
I feel bad for this Pioneer team. It is 56 degrees today here in Fairfield. Next Saturday, they're going to be taking a trip to Buffalo. It's going to be 40 degrees in Connecticut. I can only imagine what it's going to feel like in Buffalo.
Get that lake effect snow.
They're going to be coming back to reality after what was a picturesque day on Campus Field. Everything went right. Buffalo, New York is 20 degrees today. So next weekend, it's going to be 24. They're going to be right back in the sweats. The Pioneers on the road next week to take on Canisius. But I'm sure they'll celebrate accordingly on this Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock in Fairfield. And they are going to come away with a massive victory, 20-6 over the Seahawks. Kind of right, waiting for her interview with Coach Bosty down on the turf.
He's 5 feet back from the closest man there at the end of the Sacred Heart line. Really, the only lingering question here for the Pioneers is Will Moulton and his health, and seeing where things reside next week.
Will Moulton and his health is, of course, at the top of the priority list. Also, far behind, but still a concern is going to be their special teams on offense. This was not an impressive showing.
Yeah, you said it best. You don't want to go into your conference schedule tinkering with things that are not working. Sacred Heart's man-up opportunities you only had 2 of them today. Both of them really when the game was in hand, so not surprising to see Sacred Heart not necessarily have the greatest output there, but it's been an issue all year, and it's something they're going to have to figure out as they get into the meat of that MAC schedule. I think there's a lot of love going on here. Former Sacred Heart coach sitting there on the Wagner sideline, so that's why you're seeing some of these hugs taking a little bit longer.
Yeah, this is a Wagner team that has completely rebuilt their coaching staff. 3 brand new coaches for the Seahawks, so kind of in rebuild mode is Wagner, so you got to give them a little bit of leeway for that as McKenna Wright is standing down on the turf. This is Tucker Spencer after his 5-goal performance. Take it away, McKenna.
Thanks, guys. Tucker, you and Jake Ward seemingly unstoppable out there today. Talk about your guys' connection, what was working so well around the goal.
It's just awesome. He is such a fun player to play with. He's so generous. He shares the ball. He's really smart, and it's pretty easy. My job's pretty easy. I just get open, he finds me, and moving the ball back and forth. It's just a really fun offense to be a part of, and I'm really grateful for it.
How fun was getting a win so dominant like this on senior day in front of all your guys' friends and family? How fun was it today?
It means the world. It is like, for all the seniors, everybody on the team, but for the seniors that have been here for 4 years, they worked so hard. They accepted me into their family. I didn't start here. I transferred in here. It's just so awesome for everyone's family and all the guys that have been doing this for so long to earn a win like that after all of our hard work. It's amazing.
Thank you, Tucker. Congratulations on the day.
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you, McKenna, and eloquently spoken Tucker Spencer. He gives a great interview. That was not his first time with a mic in front of him. Tucker Spencer with 5 goals today. He's going to go celebrate with his what he called an adoptive family. He said they welcomed him in, coming in from the transfer portal, and he has really found his home here in Fairfield.
I mean, he's absolutely made a mark on this franchise, on this organization, this program, whatever you want to call it. And we haven't had to talk about it because of how well Sacred Heart has started the year, but there were some pretty enormous offensive holes to be filled from last year to this year. Always difficult when you have seniors playing a mainstay role with a championship team, and for Spencer to come in and fill that Morgan O'Reilly slot where you had a true goal scorer who was really kind of making things happen on offense, pulling the defenders, making space for everybody else. Him and Jake Ward have been unbelievable at filling in the Michio O'Reilly holes that have been left by this program. So really good work there, really good to see, and you're right, fantastic interview.
Yeah, 21 points for Jake Ward, 19 for Tucker Spencer. So the Pioneers have their offense working as they head into conference play. So let's hear one more time from McKenna Wright. McKenna?
Thanks, guys. Coach, I don't at all want to take away from what an awesome win today was, but the guys mentioned up in the booth a couple times about the special teams and unable to get it done with the man-up advantage. But on the other hand, when you're down a man, you guys are extremely successful. Talk to me about what you see from behind the bench.
Well, part of it is just they're comfortable with each other, and I think they have faith in each other that if one person does something, somebody else is going to be there to cover do their job the next step. And if all else fails, you got a pretty good goalie. So I think that because of that, they can play fearless and they can play understanding what they need to do. And we work at it. We work at it on many different levels in many different ways. And when we're in those situations, that's what wins you games. That's what wins the next level games. And so we have to consistently be coaching those guys, and they have to be learning every day to try to get better in those scenarios, and I think we have.
You told me that in previous weeks you've learned that your team is extremely resilient. If you stick to the things that you guys can do best, you're going to be successful. But in a win like this today, is there anything different that you learn about your squad when you win by 14 points?
Oh, hell yeah. Can I say that? Can I tell you? I blame Joe for that. Heck yeah. So I think what you learn in a game like this is, even though there were plenty of goals that we scored, obviously, but we weren't very crisp. There was a few series in the third, late in the second and the third quarter where we were crisp. We were flying around. We were hitting singles, throwing the ball forward, and just the way the offense was working was so smooth. And that's something that we can build on. And same thing defensively, with being able to jump the ball and double team the ball and being smart with how we're playing the ball and our approaches one-on-one. All those things are so important, and I think we learned a lot about that today that will help us going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations on such an awesome win here today.
Yeah, thank you. Go Pios. And tomorrow, I think 2 o'clock, the basketball team is playing the Stags, and so let's get Pio Nation out there to support those boys against the crosstown rivals here. So
absolutely. Thanks so much, Coach. Evan, send us out.
Thanks, McKenna, and thanks, Coach Bosty. We mentioned we were kind of surprised by how good Tucker Spencer was at the interview. We are never surprised when Coach Bosty gets a mic. Such a great billboard for Sacred Heart University as a whole. He's really a member that we are proud of, and he's got a team that he can be proud of. Taking a massive victory here at home on Campus Field. So for McKenna Wright and Joe Fortunato, I am Evan Cormier saying so long from Sacred Heart University, where the final score is Pioneers 20, Wagner Seahawks 6. All games airing on the ESPN network are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.